I have inadvertently allowed myself to ooch over onto Tim's side of the table. He doesn't like it when I do that. So we are going to remedy that. And I got a request for a studio tour. So, sure. You will see exactly what is held in my hot mess of a studio. Thanks for coming, everybody. I gotta clean it first. You and me, babe. You and me, babe. It's just nothing else like you. We're ready to go. Okay, so my hot mess of a studio is not clean by any stretch of the imagination, but it is picked up. So we will move forward because it's not likely to ever get clean unless Tim does it anyway. So I have you in the middle of the big table and I'm just gonna do a 360. So if you see us down here working on the glazes or doing glaze dipping or something like that, all the glazes are stored underneath the table as well as most of the glaze ingredients. This is what you're seeing in the background, which is our lovely Shadowfax. That's the name of the motorcycle. Behind him is the lawnmower, the lawn equipment, and all things that are not related to pottery. Above that is the weed eater that you'll see in the background a lot. And sectioning off is our toolbox. Sectioning off everything that is not pottery related to everything that is pottery related. So this is the tape. This is the toolbox. Everything in here is tools. The ice chest we use as drying box sometimes, but this is where everything that is finished with its current process. So everything here has been bisque fired or waiting for glaze. It's drying out, getting to the bone dry phase for whatever reason. It is at a stopping place. So that's the waiting room. And then we have this is the sink and the faucet. This is Tim's wedging tape. So this is at the perfect height for Tim's body. He is way taller than I am, and I could not ever wish to be able to wedge on this table comfortably. However, I do tend to take it over for various other things. Tim's wedging table. This is our wedging wire. It's connected to this here. So this has a guitar string on it. And this is what you see is cutting the slabs with and stuff. This is a scale where we weigh out exactly how much clay is in each item. Our cups are generally a pound to a pound and a half. Bowls are generally 2 pounds, that sort of thing. We use this scale. And then my wedging table is right here. The wedging table is at the crease of your body, where your legs, your hips. Hello, why was that a hard word to come up with? Hips. Behind all this is the slab roller. And then, of course, the door to the inside of the house. I did not mention the washer and dryer, but I figure that's probably self-explanatory. That's the washer and dryer. You can probably figure that out. Although for some of you it might seem a little odd to have a washer and dryer in the garage. But around here that's not odd. So turning the corner just a little bit more, we have the wheel. We have all things that are related to wheel throwing. This whole unit stretches the studio, and this is an old grocery store shelving unit, and there's pegboard along the back side of it, and this area is where I use that pegboard. The rest of it is really just shelves. But this is obviously where we throw, and when I am throwing and you're watching me throw, generally you're sitting right up here, or maybe right down there on top of a bucket or something. So you're looking this direction, back over at the waiting room, through the little hallway I just walked through. Bats, wheel, all that. And this is the little stuff. All these boxes have labels on them to hopefully help with the craziness, keep the table clean. A lot of studios will have a series of containers and things holding tools up in the center of the table. We tried that, did not work, but this seems to work pretty well. So cutters, stamps, hand building tools, this is all hand building stuff, sponges, various things. Every tool that Tim ever uses for anything goes in this box. He has his own tools because he can't share. But you didn't hear that from me. He knows this about himself. And then we have the scale sets. So I have two sets of balance scales. One is ounce measurements and one is gram measurements. I like using analog scales because they're extremely accurate and they don't run out of battery and they don't automatically turn off if you leave them plugged in. All the things. So I highly recommend analog scales. Newsprint. You use newsprint for all sorts of stuff in the pottery studio. So I've got a couple of things. Newsprint, stickers, stylus loopers. This area here, these three things are all about decoration. So we're moving from the making of the pieces. Right here we start the decorating of the pieces. So like this is all sorts of stylus tools. So those are all carving tools and stylus and pointy things. This is the pointy things box. This is the loopers, decorating, knives. These are all underglaze things. This is a slip trailing. So do all those things. And then this is the brushes and underglazing. Now down on the bottom shelf, you can't really see. Way down here is another storage area for glaze ingredients. So I have these nifty buckets for glaze ingredients that we don't buy the 50-gallon or the 50-pound size go under there. All the 50 pounds go underneath the big table. This shelf here is what's in process. So over there, they're finished with the process that they're in, and they're waiting in a waiting room to get to the next process. So everything that wants the same color glaze will go and wait over there, and then I'll dip all of those in the glaze at the same time. Well, these are still getting decorated. For example, we did this plate. I did the cup and the bowl that match, but I didn't get the underglaze transfer on that the other day, so those still need underglaze transfers. I got tape on all these, but I haven't painted them yet. They're in the process. This is my project bar right here. Now on to the kiln. Here we have my beautiful kiln. I have no idea what size it is. Does not matter. 8-sided, whatever size that is. All of my kiln furniture is right here. So I have it organized by length of the posts. So I've got shorts up here, longs down here, cones right there. Sandpaper also has to do with firing, test tiles, extra cones, and then just some miscellaneous. These are the buckets here that go on top of the scales when I'm weighing out ingredients. Other extraneous, miscellaneous kiln shelf wash just kind of hangs out in this area. You know, there's that place where if you don't know what to do with it, you just stick right there. Well, that's the... Now we have reached the end of our table. This holds my iPad when it's not on the holder that it's on right now. And kiln's right here. We have this beautiful little shelf for prepping anything that needs to be prepped before it goes into the kiln. So kiln shelves live here. The wax that you saw me in the last video, I was using the wax. Goes right here on this shelf. So that I can wax bottoms in a timely manner. I don't. That's okay. Then we have this cabinet here, and it holds glazes that are store-bought. So all of the underglazes are right here because I haven't figured out how to make those yet, and that's okay. And all of the store-bought regular glazes are here. Then we have a shelf that has wax and paper clay and all things that have to do with, you know, that kind of thing. Stains, anything that is not a glaze and not an underglaze kind of hangs out here. And then we have all sorts of accoutrement that has to do with applying those things that's not a brush. So this kind of stuff. These little cuppies that you can pour underglaze into if you're not using the little tiny things. Next to that we have 5-gallon buckets of glaze that are stacked that don't fit underneath the table. And but yeah, if you are looking this direction on the studio and you see my wheel in the background, or you see those drawers in the background, you're probably right up here. This is obviously the slab table, and the slab, the extruder. So using the extruder, it's really nice because I can take my extruded piece out and put it directly on the slab table and start working with it immediately. This goes into the house, obviously. This is the closest sink. It goes directly into the kitchen. The deep freeze, a very small one. And then other stuff that doesn't have to do with pottery is up there. So if you're ever looking back on the studio where you're seeing me in between the slab roller and the wedging tables, I've got you sitting right here, right on top of the extruder, which is fantastic. It's like a little shelf right there so that I can film the other direction. So anyway, you know, everything kind of works out in its own craziness. Other things that we have, like I'm looking at the top shelves right now, we've got all sorts of just dumb stuff that we probably won't ever use. I shouldn't say that. Dumb stuff that I would love to get into and use and explore, but the nature of pottery is a long, patient process. And sometimes, you know, all the things that you want to do versus all the things that you can do in a day argue with one another. It works really, really well. Tim has one side of the table. I have one side of the table. We both use the large wear boards in the waiting room. Obviously, we both use the same tools. He has his wedging table. I have my wedging table. You know, and he has his box of tools, and I have my shelves of tools. We are blessed. We are richly blessed with all of the wonderfulness that is our pottery. And I want to say thank you to the commenter who asked for a pottery studio tour. It is certainly a makeshift pottery studio, but works fantastic for us, so we love it. It is definitely a hot mess. It is always a hot mess, and I love it that way. Thanks for coming, everybody. For saving for, you know, some sort of pottery shelf somewhere someday, or wear boards or something like that. But Herbert's not into cutting up wood, so it just hangs out right there. Not anymore anyway.